company.
Tonight on CTV3 News, shots fired in Trial Farmer Village, Orange Walk. Bart Allen is lucky to be alive after bullets penetrated 3 parts of his body. Another teen goes missing in the north. $7 million allocated for the rollout of NHI in Orange Walk. And we take you to Chan Chen Government School, where education is taken to a higher level. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Thursday, March 16th, 2023.
I am ready. You're getting the new and improved me. This is nice.
I think what really impressed him was the fact that I didn't turn into a monster.
Bring on the heat! Start up the gunfire! Weapon ready!
It's about a relationship that hopefully many people can relate to.
Enjoy your favorite HBO original series and movies with
Centaur, your kind of company.
This is our best chance to find a habitable planet.
You're shooting the bullet. You're catching it.
Arrakis is a death trap.
Enjoy your favorite HBO original series and movies with
Centaur, your kind of company.
Good evening, with your news also simulcast on Fiesta FM 106.7. I am Joanna Rodriguez. 37-year-old Bart Allen, a resident of Trial Farmer Village, Orange Walk District, is in recovery after being shot 3 times last night. Police say that Allen was fixing a tire on his vehicle, which was parked on Nightingale Street around 8:15 p.m. when 2 men dressed in full black traveling on a scooter rode up to Allen, and one fired several shots at him before making good their escape. Allen was hit to the right hand, left hand, and to the left side of the chest. He was taken to the Northern Regional Hospital for treatment, where he is listed in stable condition. We understand as much as 7 expended shells were recovered from the scene. As we told you on Wednesday, the ministerial subcommittee chaired by Minister Kareem Musa is currently in dialogue with representatives from the Belize Sugarcane Farmers Association and BSI ASR in an effort to bring about a solution to the long-standing impasse between the two. The formation of the subcommittee comes following several failed attempts to remedy the situation, including the appointment of Florencia Marin Sr. as an advisor, as well as the appointment of attorney Julianne Bradley as a mediator. Now, while the dialogue with both parties is in its initial stages, Minister Musa says the goal remains to reach an end to this age-old dispute.
I think it has more to do with giving it a fresh pair of eyes. And so I am an attorney at law, and so I am familiar with how legislation is drafted, how commercial agreements are drafted. And so any attorney, as you know, the last person to mediate in something like this was Mrs. Julie Ann Ellis Bradley. She has no knowledge of the sugar industry either, and so it really involved a crash course on my part to learn every single thing that there is to know, and there's still a lot that I need to learn. But I think that the subcommittee, having had the opportunity to meet with both entities, is getting a very good grasp of the situation and the issues at hand, and so we can then give a more informed opinion on these things moving forward. And so it might seem like, oh, well, what does Kareem know about the sugar? But I think the reason the Prime Minister asked me to do it is, one, I do not have a horse in this race at all. And so we recognize the importance of both entities. And so it's to really get somebody who is unbiased and who has the legal training to be able to maneuver through these things.
The committee is expected to meet with both the BSCFA and the BSI-ASR for a second time in the coming days. Police are asking the public to help locate 15-year-old Janelle Mai, a resident of San Pablo Village, Orange Walk District. Mai was reported missing on Wednesday but had last been seen on Tuesday, March 14, around 1 p.m. when she said she was headed to school to help with washing dishes. Mai never returned home despite her mother texting her and her sending a reply saying that she would be home in a while. Mai is described as being of Hispanic descent, standing 5 feet 4 inches tall. She was last seen wearing a long black pants, a pink blouse, and a school bag. Anyone with knowledge of her whereabouts is urged to report it by calling 911, 922, or the nearest police station. The Chan Chen Government School in Corozal received much-needed donations from friends who flew in all the way from Nashville, Tennessee, in the USA. The education institution is delighted for the assistance that will enhance education for the students. Our news team traveled north today to gather all the details. Here is the story with reporter Elmer Cornejo.
Thanks to the Covenant Presbyterian Church in Nashville, Tennessee, the administration of the Chan Chen Government School will be taking education to a whole new level. To show appreciation to the 66 volunteers who traveled to the country and assisted the school in numerous ways, teachers, students, and staff held a special ceremony today. As part of the donation package, the school received 2 laminators, an all-in-one heavy-duty printer, 140 poster boards, and over 100 children's books. Teachers also received $3,000 in teaching materials to enhance students' learning. The volunteers built picnic tables and renovated the school's diner in order for children to have a space that is relevant to enjoy their lunches. In addition, 135 bowls, cups, plates, and silverware were added to the kitchen's inventory. This renovation came at a cost of $5,000 Belize dollars.
It really felt like it was an opportunity for us to give where there was real need, and we had gathered this up from our congregation, so hundreds of people have participated in bringing what you've seen out of the generosity of their hearts. They heard they were coming. They couldn't make the trip, but this was the small way where they could send out of their hearts to bless as well.
We did some construction work. The room that you're standing in, we kind of repaired. We built, I think, 9 picnic tables over there. And I'll also say a lot of the work was done in the classrooms. So each classroom received a helper with kids as well, just to be a part of the kind of curriculum and building curriculum. We are also able to provide some teacher training from some of our teacher experts as well. So it was great. I know one day we have someone who's come down who's a counselor, professional counselor, and she worked with the teachers she works in a school as well. And so just how to kind of love on the students, to kind of meet them where they are and to understand maybe some of the emotional challenges they may be dealing with. And you want to say anything about that too?
Yeah, there was also reading literacy, so to help with literacy, comprehension, to learn and speed. And so those were both some of the areas where some of our teachers' aides and helpers came to help focus as well. Well, that was just us hearing about some of the ways and the needs that we could give. And so this was helping the students with their daily life here at the Chan Chen School to be able to help them just through their ordinary day. So that was one of the ways we wanted to help too.
Head of the school, Principal Carlos Itzab, says the donation could not have come at a better time, as the school can now boast to be at par with other learning institutions, providing a higher quality of education to its pupils.
To be thankful to the Project Belize and the Restoration Movement, because without them this would have been possible. Well, the items given to us will be useful to us to feed the children. Currently we are in a feeding program. We are feeding about 100 students plus every day, and we were short of some utensils, and when they brought them here yesterday and they presented to us, it was more than happy to receive them with open arms, because I'm sure now that our students will have good utensils to have their meal every day. The pandemic at hand, and we had to be doing paper-based, and was not. With this, will be easier for the teachers now to provide handouts, and more education can happen, more work can be done with the students, and the iPads that we have can be used individually by classes, so they can upgrade themselves in the technology and knowing more about researching about information that is out there, right? To the people who gave us all these supplies, giving a thank you is too little. I think they have gained our hearts, and will forever be thankful to them.
The act of good faith was made possible after Ruth Koo, a teacher by profession, made a special contact with longtime friends.
Through the Belize project, I have been able to expand and get to know outside of my comfort zone. God has taken me and pulled me outside into a new area. So that's our partnership between the Belize project and us as Belizeans in education has been so enhanced by the gifts that many of our visiting teams have been able to come down to Belize. We had this time a very special friend, Mr. Michael Spurgeon. He flew in his plane carrying, I think, like 3 huge printers like that one that you have. All of these printers will be donated to the Belizean communities, to schools and different NGOs for the benefit of us, the people here in Belize. I'm so thankful that everything that they brought, Mr. Spurgeon and the team along, with the support of Her Excellency Ms. Rosanna Briseño, who I'm very thankful for all the support she gave us, the partnership we have had with her, and because both of us, we serve such a great God that we realize that this is done only because God has been able to channel all of this to Belize. She was the first one to welcome us into Belize and facilitate all our huge group of 66 people as their entry into Belize. So I'm very thankful for her partnership and her support. So one, our Belizean people, the literacy program that we have here in Chanchen for the children of Belize, to the parents in the community, and to Belize Project and our U.S. partners that we know how, Covenant Presbyterian Church.
Kimberly Caraway has made 26 trips in 15 years to Belize, and every donation has sparked hope in developing the education system in Belize.
Our vision is to come down and meet Belizeans who are making an impact in their community. And we want to bring the love of Jesus Christ to the nation here. And we want to find people who know the Lord and support the work that they're doing. And then we want to take that and help people in their vision. So we find people like Mrs. Koo, who has an excellence in her education, and she has excellence in the way she leads, and she is our literacy coordinator. Our vision at Chanchen years ago was to walk with them to help them become the best performing school in the nation in literacy. So part of the mission statement of Chanchen is that they develop strong readers. So we're committed to walking with them for several years to help develop the best readers in this country.
Elmer Cornejo, CTV3 News.
Sunday school curriculum was also donated to churches in Orange Walk, Belmopan, Belize City, and San Ignacio. During his budget presentation last week, Prime Minister John Briseño listed a number of high-priority areas for additional investments by his government during the 2023 fiscal year. Within these priorities is health, which will see an additional investment to the National Health Insurance Scheme. These additional funds will see the rollout of NHI services within the Orange Walk district, which started back in 2022 and is expected to be fully up and running during this fiscal year. During an interview with the media, General Manager for the NHI, Dr. Ramon Figueroa, outlined the ongoing process to have NHI instituted in Orange Walk Town and surrounding communities.
The 7 million is a projected figure to cover. No, I think we can manage with 7 million, and that 7 million is an additional to cover the rollout in Orange Walk. And anybody who works with finances and budget knows that when you do projections, you build in assumptions. One assumption, obviously, is that from day one, we're covering 100% of the population, which probably won't happen. But we can't predict how fast we will register people, so you need to project on 100% coverage. And you're talking, based on SIB estimates, about 49,000 additional person in Orange Walk. We think it's higher, by the way, but that's the projected figures that we have. We think it's closer to like 60,000, the population in that area. So those are assumptions that we built in. The other assumption is that we have built in also the cost. Remember, we work on a contract basis, and it's based on how we negotiate prices. But we've built in those cost estimates and projections, inflation, because if we use the figures that we've been using in the South Side, we haven't changed the prices since 2001. So in the projection for Orange Walk, we built in some inflation figures in there.
It is in all target areas under bid submissions. The GM says it is now only a matter of selecting eligible facilities before the start of the second phase, which will include registration.
Next week, we start the process of evaluating proposals, and we have a tender committee that will be looking at ensuring that the proposals that have not been tampered with. So those steps are pretty clear. We want to ensure that there's transparency, and that there's no questions asked about us bypassing or favoring any particular provider. So we will go through that phase, and there will be a team that will do an assessment of the clinics, assessments of the pharmacies, lab, and imaging, and then a selection with a scoring system, and then a selection process.
So this is where that $7 million will go to? I'm just trying to...
Yes, so once we have identified the providers, let's say with the clinics, the primary ones are the clinics. Once we have identified, then we start the process of registration of people in that area. So the north side of Orange Walk will have a defined geographic, so we'll have to advertise now in public and tell people, this is the provider in your area, start registering. The registration process requires that you register with Social Security first. So you have to have a Social Security number. And then you register with the provider. So you need to go to the provider and say, I belong to the clinic, and then they can start accessing services. But we'll negotiate a contract before that. Mm-hmm. And then we start paying based on the number of people registered with them.
So how much clinics are we looking at?
We're looking at 4 north, south, east, west, and probably 2 that's 5 or 6 clinics.
Within the NHI framework here in the north, Dr. Figueroa says the team is also looking at instituting a facility specifically targeted at senior citizens.
The other thing that we're trying to do in Orange Walk is we want to set up also a clinic for the elderly, just like Mercy Clinic. That would be the second one in the country. If you haven't visited Mercy Clinic, I invite you all to visit it. The facility doesn't look very impressive, but the service that is being provided to the elderly there is incredible. It's one of the model services in the whole Caribbean, actually. And we want to build a similar one in Orange Walk. Now, the cost to provide services for the elderly is 3 times the cost of what it costs to provide normal individuals. So that's built in as well. And there will be an initial investment cost to help we're working with HelpAge, by the way, to help HelpAge set up their facility. They already have identified an area, they have a building, but we need to do investment in that building to make it adequate for the standards that we expect to provide services for the elderly.
Coming up next, failure to adhere to controlled prices could gain store owners a ticket for or even closure of their business. Stay tuned.
Belize, are you ready for Jesus Fest 2023? The End Times Revival, March 17th and 18th, starting at 6 p.m. Invited guest Pastor Paul Dougherty from the USA.
Hey, listen, the weather's going to change. Listen, I know it's stormy seas out there, but there's light at the end of this storm. The sun will come out tomorrow. God's going to do something in your future. He's not finished with you yet. Somebody say, this is not how it ends.
Casa Worship Band from Belmopan, Pastor Vicente Franco from Mexico, Psalmist from Orange Walk, Beverly Shiloh. This event will take place at Arthur Street in Orange Walk, in front of Orange Walk Market. Special gifts will be provided. Sponsors, Victory Church from Tulsa, Oklahoma, USA, Hope Alive, Stereo Luz, CVM Church, Pastores y Ministros Amigo del Reino,
Koinonia Ministries.
Buses will be provided for villages. For more information, contact us at 661-7324. Jesus Fest 2023. See you there.
Indulge the flavor. Go beyond meat. Looks like meat. Tastes like meat. But it's better than meat. 100% plant-based. Rich in protein, 50% less saturated fat, no GMOs, no added soy, packed with benefits and sustainable. Beyond meat, good for you, good for the environment. Now available in 6 different types of products in Belize. Beyond burger, beyond sausage, beyond beef, beyond chicken nuggets, beyond chicken tenders, beyond steak, beyond meat, distributed by United Distributors Limited.
LG dual inverter compressor cools air faster by operating at speeds as high as 120 Hz with more stability compared to conventional models. It also saves up to 70% more energy by operating at speeds as low as 10 Hz with more stability. It reduces torque vibration down to 40% for quiet outdoor unit operation. Stable operation with low vibrations also results in increased durability.
Store owners across the country are being placed on notice as government is moving forward with legislation to criminalize price gouging. The government has established a task force to address the global issue of inflation and more specifically the extensive price gouging that has been taking place across the country. GOP has now taken the matter another level by tabling the Supplies Control Amendment Bill, which will see delinquent stores being ticketed for price gouging. This issue, according to Minister of Agriculture Jose Mai, is being taken very seriously and will see businesses being shut down for failure to adhere to controlled prices.
Last week, Prime Minister, my ministry, tabled an amendment bill to the Supplies Control Act. That amendment bill will empower the government officers to now issue tickets. They will issue tickets. So if they walk into a store and they see that, for example, sugar, which has a controlled price, is being sold for $1.50, that officer gives that ticket to that shop owner immediately of $500, and you close down the shop. The shop is closed down, and the information on the shop that's gouging is also released to the public so that people know that that shop owner is gouging. We are also including the public servants. The Public Service Union will submit names to us who will help us with these tickets. And we will train them as to what to look for, what the law says, and then we release them to go into the community and help us to control the gouging. I think it is unfortunate that we have reached to this point. We had hope, we had that draft for a little while now, but we were hoping that the prices would go down or that people would reflect after we announce it. But it's not getting better, it's getting worse, and so we have to implement the law now.
When can we expect this to see these structures being put in place?
Well, it has gone to the first reading already in the House, so it will go for the second reading and debated and then passed thereafter in the Senate and then become law. So I think in the next 3 weeks it's supposed to be ready.
So businesses are being put on notice?
Of course, we have to inform them. We are doing announcements now that this law will come into effect. And I believe that everybody will support the law, the opposition and the government side, because it's a law that's required.
Belizeans can expect the implementation of these new policies in the coming weeks. The Commissioner of Police and the Belize Police Department will have to answer in court to a claim of constitutional rights violations filed by Police Constable Alicia Trapp. The defendants in the case had submitted to the court that Trapp's suit had no merit in law and should be dismissed. However, on Tuesday, the court ruled that the case does have merit and will proceed to full trial. Erson Elrington, Trapp's attorney, explained that the court has given his client 14 days to make the necessary amendments to the claim and that the defendants will be given time to respond to the amended suit. The claim stems from a situation in June 2022 where Trapp had an altercation with Minister Julius Espat and took to social media to air her discontent. The commissioner brought Trapp up on disciplinary charges, saying that the department has a policy that bars police officers from participating in political events. Trapp claims that the policy violates her constitutionally guaranteed right to freedom of expression and took the matter to court. Today, a first-time activity unfolded at the Belize Adventist College in Calcutta, Corozal. Mock interviews were held to grade students' learning and performance. So, what was the outcome of the project intended to prepare students for when they are interviewed by their future employer? Elmer Cornejo prepared this report with the details.
Tell me about yourself are words that many new graduates will hear as they sit down for a job interview. But are graduates prepared to answer this question along with several others aimed at determining their skill sets, adaptability, and personalities? To become better prepared for job interviews, students at the Belize Adventist College today sat face-to-face with the local BPOs for mock interviews. Interviews they must pass since it will reflect as a grade on their report.
I'm very excited about the interviews that I've done. Basically, we're here just to let everyone get a better understanding of who Transparent BPO is, what's the difference between a contact center and a call center. We're a contact center. We handle multiple different types of contacts. We do chats, we do customer service, we do tech support, and in most cases, a lot of the people that I've spoken to feel that we're just a call center. So it was very refreshing to clarify that, with the younger generation, and I'm excited to know that they're going to go out and explain that to their friends, because most of them found that amusing when I explained that to them. I've spoken to students, first year, second year, tertiary level students, very intelligent, very articulate with their words. They had some really good questions, not only about Transparent BPO, but more about my career as a professional, which was surprising. And I was very excited about, the way that they reacted when we started talking about some of the challenges I faced, some of my wins, and they asked for advice. So I found it very engaging and interacting. In some instances, it didn't even feel like an interview.
It's the first time that the mock project is taking place, which prepares students for the interview process and ultimately securing employment upon graduating. For Transparent BPO's Tyron Gladden, he is glad that the idea was brought to fruition and argues that it should be taken to all schools across the country.
I'd say some of the majors that they're doing right now incline with some of the type of work that we do, so they found that very interesting because most of them are studying to to follow that career path in the future. But what they found surprising was, hey, you guys actually have programs that are aligned with what I'm studying. So they became interested, and for the fact that we work mostly for international companies, they're intrigued in wanting to know how they could be a part of Transparent to understand at an international level. I think meeting every single candidate so far, they have exercised basic business etiquette, maintain eye contact. They don't sit until you ask them to have a seat, very firm handshake, and they're very articulate with their words and the way that they deliver themselves. I think in interviewing people for jobs, a lot of the conversations at time has to do a lot with what you did in the past, what type of work you've been exposed to. But in this instance, they're students. So I think the level that they're at right now, they're prepared. And it's just a matter of them getting more experience in the workforce. But I think that they're prepared to step out and start earning their own and start making changes in Belize. I would definitely say that what we're doing here, I think it's something that a lot of other schools have to get involved in. I think that the education department, I know has some influence on this. I think, but this should be an initiative regardless, red or blue. This should be something that's a continuous initiative across whichever party, because this is definitely bringing school and bringing the workforce together in developing our future leaders and our future movers and shakers. So it's very important that this is something that is maintained throughout whichever party, red, blue, green, white. This needs to be something that's continuous, not a 5-year plan, not a 10-year plan. This needs to be the way Belize does this going forward.
Leading up to the event, students were provided with the basics of interviewing, providing a good first impression, offering a solid handshake, smiling and speaking clearly and directly. The importance of verbal and nonverbal communication was also discussed in class. During the event, students were paired with professionals who interviewed them just as they would potential employees. But what was the experience like? Here is their response.
After sitting the mock interview for the Red Call Center, I was a little bit nervous first when I first went in, but after I take it, I was relieved. The stress was relief, and it was a good interview.
Do you think that you would have been, hired after sitting the interview?
Well, according to the people that interviewed me, I could have been hired, but my age, I'm too young, and you need to be 18 to be hired at the Red Cross Center.
The interviewers offered positive comments, opportunities for improvement, and suggestions for each answer the student provided.
You're about to sit your mock interview. Are you prepared?
Not really, but yes, I can say, because I'm a business student, so more or less I know maybe what they will say, what they will ask about, business stuff. So.
Did you go home when your teacher told you that you were going to sit an exam, an interview that would be graded? Did you go home and research about what to expect? What was some of those things that you found out?
Well, I went online, and then I was looking at some YouTube of things like maybe what you can say and how you can react to the question that they answered, what they say. So more or less I already know.
Elmer Cornejo, CTV3 News.
Like a real job interview, students were also critiqued on their professional appearance and soft skills. Over $97 million has been allocated towards the Ministry of Home Affairs in the budget for the 2023 fiscal year. In addition, monies have been allocated for the recruitment of 250 police officers. When speaking to the media earlier this week, Minister Karim Musa outlined his ministry's priority areas for citizen security in the coming year.
One of the priority areas of our administration this year is citizen security. I think Cabinet has realized that there is a lot of potential in the multi-sectoral approach that we initiated over a year ago. That particular budget, if I'm not mistaken, will be increased by some $2 million. Initially it was $2.9 million, and that will be going up. We also have 250 additional police officers that we'll be recruiting subsequent to the passing out of the current recruit squad 96 that is at the Police Training Academy. So there's an additional budget for 250 more police officers to enroll this year. Additionally, we're looking at the National Forensic Science Service. We recognize the importance of having a good lab for doing testing, whether it's ballistics, whether it's DNA, and so you can look forward to some very meaningful and impactful changes coming at the National Forensic Science Service as we continue to roll out our platform of innovation and technology using the tools that are accessible to us to help fighting crime.
It is of note that a large percentage of the budget allocated to the Ministry of Home Affairs have been earmarked for crime prevention, while investigation and prosecution is receiving a smaller cut. This decision, according to Minister Musa, is based on the ministry's strategy to minimize crime and violence.
There is always the enhancing, Paul, of our investigation and prosecutorial services within the police department. That emphasis is always there. What we're trying to do now is to tap into the other areas, because while we continue to enhance and develop those particular sectors, we do recognize that, like I said, innovation and technology, utilizing the NFSS services to see how it is that we can solve more and more crimes using DNA testing. Right now, for us to test anything for DNA, you have to go abroad. Sometimes that takes 3 weeks to 5 weeks, when in fact, you may have someone in your custody that left something at a scene of a crime, and you need to test that immediately, or else you will have to release that individual within 48 hours. And so we recognize that there are other areas in crime fighting and crime prevention that require an investment that has not been there. And so, yes, we will continue to invest in our prosecution, continue to invest in our investigative services within the police department, but we are also branching out because we recognize where other tools can be utilized in our crime prevention strategy.
Honorable Amon Courtney, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Trade and Immigration, delivered a statement at the Commonwealth Foreign Ministers meeting at Marlborough House in London on March 15, 2023. The Commonwealth Charter commits member states to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and other relevant human rights covenants and international instruments, including the Refugee Convention and its protocol, and to protecting peoples who are most vulnerable and at risk. In his statement, Foreign Minister Courtney acknowledged the Commonwealth's long-standing recognition of the importance of building peaceful, just and stable societies through the protection of human rights. Belize, as a country that is both a destination and a transit country for migrants and asylum seekers, is deeply concerned by some of the policy positions that have been adopted by members of the Commonwealth family. Do we build just societies and protect the most vulnerable when we say that if you arrive on my shores illegally, I will deny you the right accorded to you by the Refugee Convention? Do we build just societies and protect the most vulnerable if we say that if you arrive in my country and you seek asylum, I will transfer you forcibly to a third country? We in Belize, who are confronted with tens of thousands of migrants from Central America, from Haiti, from Venezuela, from Cuba passing through our country, and some staying, have to ask ourselves, should we adopt a similar policy? And I ask myself whether the Commonwealth members should all adopt that policy. Will we be discharging our faithful commitment to our charter? Minister Courtney said that Belize calls for the Commonwealth's renewal of its commitment to the Refugee Convention and Protocol for the humane treatment of asylum seekers and migrants, and for faithful compliance with individual and collective legal obligations. Belize further calls on the Commonwealth family to take up the issue of inhumane and unlawful treatment of migrants and refugees as an emerging and evolving issue for the Commonwealth family. Furthermore, an update was given to Commonwealth foreign ministers on the territorial, insular, and maritime claims of Guatemala against Belize. The Commonwealth has long affirmed its support for the territorial integrity and sovereignty of Belize. The COVID-19 pandemic taught us that when you take care of yourself, you're also taking care of your family, friends, and community. To that effect, for all women in and out of Corozal, a self-care and wellness expo has been planned for tomorrow, March 17, at the Civic Center in Corozal Town between the hours of 9 a.m. to 2 p.m.
We will be having a women's expo here in Corozal at the Civic Center, which will be from 9 to 2 tomorrow, March 17, where we will be showcasing our local entrepreneurs. We'll have someone that will be doing we'll have someone selling their local homemade dips and basic biscuits and stuff that they do for an income. We'll also have a group of young ladies that have finished a course when it comes to manicures and pedicures, haircuts. Everything will be based tomorrow between the prices of $5 to $20. We're not taking any of that. That will be their income. That will be them giving them an opportunity to showcase themselves of what they have learned so that they can build up their little business. This is a collaboration that we have with the Women's Department, also with the Women's Commission, for our month of March, which is to highlight women and help to build women and enabling them to be dependent and not having to depend on anyone but themselves, building up their self-esteem.
Again, the expo is for tomorrow at the Civic Center in Corozal Town. And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Friday, March 17th here on CTV3 and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at ctv3belizenews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/ctv3belizenews or our YouTube channel at ctv3newsbz. Remember to wash your hands and remain safe. From all of us here at CTV3 News, thank you for watching and listening. Good night.